We want to put sensors in those nalas, which
Yeah.
will be automatically 24/7 sending us data through Bluetooth. So, we do plan, we do start projects, but we don't end up implementing them, and we waste a lot of money. And the other interesting part of this seaweed is it's actually edible.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it actually will become a source of income for the fishermen. And secondly, even the fishes that they catch are contaminated. जैसे मैंने बताया ना ये lead, chromium, cadmium. So आप और मैं जो when we eat fishes, it's ending up in our stomachs as well. It has lead, it has chromium, it has mercury, and if we swim in that, especially young children, they actually can have it could impact their growth, their brains as well. They could end up with stunted growth.
Hello and welcome to Front Seat to Climate Change. I'm your host, Mahin Azam Khan. When we think about climate change, we often focus on rising temperatures, floods, and air pollution. But another crisis is unfolding along our coastlines. Karachi's coastal waters, which supports marine biodiversity, livelihoods, and the health of millions of people, are increasingly threatened by pollution, untreated waste, and environmental degradation. Protecting these ecosystems is not just an environmental necessity, it is critical for public health, economic resilience, and the future of our coastal communities. Joining us today is Saad Amanullah, Chairperson of the Public Interest Law Association Pakistan, to discuss the growing challenge of coastal pollution, the vision behind Project Saaf Pani, and how law, innovation, and community action can work together to restore Karachi's coastline. Let's dive deep into the conversation.
Hello, Saad Saab. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to present my thoughts and my, issue at hand.
So, Karachi is a coastal city, yet, marine pollution remains a major challenge. How would you describe the current state of Karachi's coastline and marine ecosystem?
I think it's I'm sorry, I'm going to use a word which people may not like. It's more like a gutter. ठीक है ना? I mean, and frankly, anybody who's been to the coast, I mean, if you get into a boat, it takes you about a mile before you can actually start seeing blue water. ठीक है ना? And we know why it's happening, because everything is pouring into the harbor, in the sea, through different, you've got Liari Nadi hai, Mali Nadi hai, everything from, and Karachi is a big city, it's 25 million people. It creates something like 500 to 800 million tons of gallons of, sorry, waste every day,
Yeah.
which is not treated. So if you want to explain it, it's really very pathetic. In fact, we have destroyed the marine life completely. I don't know how the fishermen, there are about 500,000 fishermen around Karachi, how they are surviving. So, and I think many people have tried it, many keh raha ki nahi kiya, but somehow we need to sit back, think about it and say, are we going to save this? We can't move Karachi. Karachi has to be here, and we have to just find ways to make sure that we can have a normal, because इसके implication बहुत ज़्यादा है, health के भी implications हैं, I mean hazard भी बहुत सारा है, but anyway, like आपके mangroves हैं, they're also dying because of all the pollution, and mangroves are your safety net basically for tsunami and all the rest of it. So it's an ecosystem completely which is being destroyed.
Absolutely. I think what you just said paints a very concerning picture for Karachi and, for other parts of Sindh as well. To, just better understand what's actually driving this decline, I would just like to talk about the sources of pollution behind it for our audience. What are the biggest sources of pollution affecting our coastal water today? And what impact are they having on local communities and marine life?
Okay, जी देखिए, the biggest impact जो इस वक्त है, it's because of the untreated municipal sewage. जैसे मैंने अभी बोला था, Karachi generates about 500,000 gallons per day of wastewater, and because due to our broken infrastructure and our treatment plants हैं, I think 8-10 हैं, but they're all offline. They're not operating. Roughly 80 to 90% of this raw sewage flows directly into the Arabian Sea without any treatment. In addition to that, there's all these, mashallah, Karachi is one of the, big industrial cities. So we've got industrial influence and heavy metals. ठीक है ना? Thousands of manufacturing units are located inside Kurangi, Landi, Federal Bay area, industrial area, and they discharge highly toxic industrial waste without treating it. That, and the toxics contain things like lead, chromium, cadmium, nickel, mercury directly into the city's beaches. I mean, I'll give you an example. If somebody knows me, they know that I worked for Procter& Gamble for about 30 years, and we had a plant at Hub. And because we were a multinational, every month we had to literally test the water that was leaving our plant and test it and send it to Cincinnati. I mean, that is, and this law exists. If you look at SEPA, सिंध की जो है आपकी इकोनॉमिक जो एक्ट है, प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट है, उसमें सारी चीजें दी हुई हैं. अच्छा, इन एडिशन टू अभी जो मैंने आपसे बात की ना अबाउट द म्युनिसिपल सीवेज एंड ड्रेनेज इफ्लुएंस, देयर इज आल्सो प्लास्टिक एंड सॉलिड वेस्ट. The city municipal solid waste management system is broken down. As a result of that, hundreds and thousands of tons of plastic and packaging material and consumer debris end up, onto a shoreline and end up at the base of the sea floor as well. And finally, the fourth area which I would like to highlight is also the port operation and maritime spill. So you see, we have to be very. I know that if you are on Singapore airport port and you do any sort of pollution from your ship, you get majorly fined. And I don't think in Pakistan, when a lot of these ships come in, because we are not, I mean, they look at the place and they say, kya pakadenge humko? I mean, it's already so bad. So lot of this has to do with oil residue leaks from commercial operation and fuel leaks and things like that. So, and I think the second part of your question was what impact they have on local communities and marine life. I think the biggest impact is on the 500,000 fishermen families that are living. Aapki jo Bit Island hai, ye sab jagah. I mean, literally they are going bankrupt. I mean, they have no ways of feeding. They have to go deeper into the sea to get anything. And secondly, even the fishes that they catch are contaminated. जैसे मैंने बताया ना, ये lead, chromium, cadmium. So आप और मैं जो when we eat fishes, it's ending up in our stomachs as well. ठीक है ना? The other impact, which I think is extremely important to highlight, is we all go to the beaches. Okay, just
Yeah.
because Sandspit and the others doesn't look like a gutter, but that water is contaminated. It has lead, it has chromium, it has mercury, and if we swim in that, especially young children, they actually can have it could impact their growth, their brains as well. They could end up with stunted growth. I mean, these are very serious issues. As a nation, we should be worried about it, and we should think about what we should do and how to fix this thing.
Absolutely. I think the environmental impacts are very clear, like you stated. And this issue actually, extends far beyond ecology. It affects, livelihoods, public health, like you mentioned, and, how it's going to impact children and their growth and, the economic development as well. So why is protecting coastal ecosystems important, not only for the environment, but for Pakistan's economy and public health?
I think this is a no-brainer, ठीक है ना? I mean, no society should be operating with a situation where you got contaminants coming out of every place. It's in the groundwater. I mean, imagine करें what happens even before it goes. आपके मलीर में आपके farms हैं, where you're growing vegetables, and those vegetables are contaminated. I mean, everything which touches this, because especially जो आपका industrial influence है ना, वो बहुत, I mean, आपका sewage is fine, I can understand it. It won't kill anybody, but it's obviously creates a lot of havoc. But industrial influence, जैसे mercury, cadmium और ये जो chromium अगर आ जाए, तो वो तो आपके it will destroy anything that it ends up in. So I think so हमारा जो environment है और public health, अभी I'm talking to Jinnah Hospital as well, because I work with Patient Aid Foundation, and Dr. Bari को मैंने call किया था, and I want to approach Aga Khan as well. I think we need to have a baseline study of waterborne diseases in Karachi, and literally, create a benchmark and literally also create a campaign about people, because I think we have become too complacent. I mean, 25 million people रहने के लिए, yeah, हाँ, गंदा है, ठीक है ना? But that is, we have to literally say, no, it's enough is enough. We need to, for our future generation. I'm just imagining if we don't do it for another 50, 100 years, I don't know what is going to happen to this area. So I think there are ways to clean it. I mean, if you go around the world, Vietnam, Philippines, China, all of them have had this industrial issues and contamination where they have fixed things. And we can use their examples as well. But we are ourselves very innovative as well. And there are amazing amount of people who are caring about it. Whoever I talk to is wants to join my bandwagon and say, "Bhai, bilkul PILAP ke saath hum kaam karenge, and we'll try to fix what we can do." I hope it gives you a fair idea.
Absolutely do agree with you that, we do at some point do become a bit complacent, but, this cannot be what we settle for. But despite the importance of protecting these ecosystems, progress often does seem slow than the urgency that the problem demands, especially when it comes to climate change. And many environmental initiatives, they struggle to create lasting change. In your view, what are the biggest barriers to effective coastal management in Pakistan?
अच्छा इसके काफ़ी चीज़ें हैं if I look at it, सबसे बड़ा इशू जो आई थिंक कराची में, एंड आई थिंक दिस हैज बीन हाईलाइटेड मेनी टाइम, इट्स द फ्रेगमेंटेशन ऑफ जुरिसडिक्शनल अथॉरिटी। ठीक है ना। अभी भी हम जब बात करते हैं कि ये नाला है, मैं आई लिव इन डीएचए, ठीक है ना, ये तो सीबीसी के अंदर आता है, ये डीएचए के अंदर आता है, ये केएमसी के अंदर आता है, इसी सो नोबडी टेक्स ओनरशिप फॉर एनीथिंग। सो इफ यू लुक एट द कराची कोस्ट लाइन, इट्स कार्व्ड अप इनटू अ कॉम्प्लेक्स पैचवर्क ऑफ ओवरलैपिंग एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव टेरिटरीज। ठीक है ना। अभी कराची पोर्ट ट्रस्ट है, आपका पोर्ट कासिम है, आपके पास कोस्ट गार्ड्स हैं, फिर आपके पास सीपा है, विच सिंध एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन एजेंसी, सिंध वाइल्ड लाइफ है, कंटोनमेंट बोर्ड्स हैं, डीएचए, इनसे भी जाते हैं, इनसे हम भी बहुत चीजें फेंक रहे होते हैं। सो देयर इज नो सिंगल सेंट्रलाइज कोस्टल जोन मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी। ठीक है ना। दीज इंस्टीट्यूशंस फ्रीक्वेंटली पास द ब्लेम टू वन अनदर। ठीक है ना। सेकेंडली, हमारा रेगुलेटरी, अच्छा इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि वन ऑफ द थिंग्स in Pakistan, which I think I'm very proud of, is that we have got every regulation under the earth. हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जाए, पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट में, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट राइट टू लाइफ, राइट टू फ्री स्पीच, राइट टू क्लीन एयर, सब चीजें हमारे हैं। फ्री एजुकेशन है 25A में, but nothing is implemented. So coming back to that, our regulatory toothlessness and for example, हमारी जो फाइनेंशियल पेनल्टीज जो लगाते हैं ना, फॉर एग्जांपल ओके सीपा गोज टू कुरंगी एंड से भाई आप ये क्यों, क्रोमियम आपका निकल रहा है बहुत ज्यादा, आप इसको बंद करें। बट द penalties are so negligible that for major industries paying an occasional minor fine is literally significantly cheaper than investing in and operating a modern effluent treatment plant. So वो कहते हैं यार ये 5 लाख रुपए दे दो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता। वी हैव टू लिटरली मेक श्योर दैट देयर इज इनफ carrot and a stick for people to do these things. And in addition to that, there is a huge amount of lack of independent monitoring. ठीक है ना।
Yeah.
Regulatory bodies lack the advanced laboratories and petrol vessels needed to independently monitor offshore dumping or nighttime ठीक है ना, आपकी इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्चार्ज जो 24 घंटे हो रहा होता है। And I think the last thing I would like to highlight, especially when you're talking about what are the barriers, is हमारे large infrastructure projects हैं. For example, I think I'm not an expert in this, but I think we've got 10 to 12 sewage cleaning plants which are all out of operation. Maybe one of them is operating. If you look at there was this Greater Karachi sewage plan S11 S3 था, जो कि bureaucratic delays हो रही हैं, उसको 15 साल हो चुके हैं। एक वाटर का प्रोजेक्ट था। So we do plan, we do start projects, but we don't end up implementing them, and we waste a lot of money because 10-15 साल अगर डिले हो गया कोई प्रोजेक्ट, इमेजिन करें कितनी इन्फ्लेशन हो चुकी होगी, कितना टाइम जाया हो गया होगा, and look all the damage that has been done because it has not been implemented. So I think we have to literally get our act together, and I think it has to come from top down. I mean bottom up तो नहीं होगा, लेकिन civil society has to start screaming and saying we need this fixed.
Like you said that, we have to get our act together. And it's very true that we do have a stack of policies of everything, We have different climate change policies, we have adaptation plans, we're committed to the NDCs as well. We have a national climate finance strategy as well. But yes, you're right that, when it comes to implementation, we do lack in that. While, these challenges are significant, there are also examples from around the world that show us that positive change is possible with the right approach. Around the world, we've seen examples of coastal restoration. What lessons can Pakistan learn from international best practices, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this earlier as well. I mean, this is area where we are actually working. PILAP is doing a lot of research. We are approaching people in Thailand and Philippines, and I think Vietnam as well. And there, if you go and Google these things like coastal areas being, and there are like hundreds of examples. Now, obviously, they don't all apply to us. We have a certain requirement. We are, हमारा climate different है, depending on forestry कितनी है. So we would like to, build on the learnings. For example, one of the part of the project that we later talk about is there are certain seaweeds which actually absorbs tons of harm metal a day. They're being used in South Korea, they've been used in Kenya. I mean, exactly. And how come all we have to do is go and get that and just put it right across our port. So जो पड़ा हुआ है वो तो साफ होना शुरू हो जाए ना. So I mean, specifically, I think there has to be first an strong, you know, issue with your status quo कि नहीं ये हम accept नहीं करते, and then you start talking to people. I would not mind even creating a consortium of experts from 3-4 countries and ask them to come to Karachi, visit us, tell us what it is. होता पता है क्या है? बहुत दफा we do all of this work, and when the plan comes in, it never gets implemented. So again, we need to not just go through the motions, but we actually need to start having a clear benchmark. That's why when I was talking earlier, we need to create baselines for this कि इस वक्त हमारी बेसलाइन हेल्थ की क्या है, हमारी बेसलाइन हेवी मेटल की क्या है. सो एक वो लाइन होगी. सो वी वांट टू सी प्रोग्रेस एवरी ईयर, मूविंग लेस मेटल्स आ रहे हैं, बच्चों के बीमार कम हो रहे हैं, थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग. सो आई थिंक वी हैव टू हैव अकाउंटेबिलिटी एंड ट्रांसपेरेंसी इन व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. Otherwise, we can forget about it.
Absolutely. I'd like to take you a little back to the conversation that we were having, and you said how community engagement is extremely important. And I'd actually like to discuss your initiative, the Project Saaf Pani. What inspired the idea behind this initiative, and what problem is it specifically trying to solve?
Okay, ji, Saaf Pani is one of our 12 initiatives we have, but this is our first initiative that we are implementing. And when I say 12 initiatives, PILAP is actually an organization which was created in 2011. But frankly, like any NGO, it was facing serious sustainability issue. And if you don't have the money, you can't hire people, because I need researchers, I need lawyers, I need all of that stuff. So it was like a catch-22. I was just keeping it alive. I mean, if you go back and look at the founding members of PILAP, which was created, there are people like Nasir Asam Zahid Justice is one of the founding members. Salima Hashmi, she's an artist. ठीक है ना? Khalid Mirza, who's जो competition commission बनाया है. I mean, these are amazing people. Even there's an IG police, Aftab Saab, and then there's people like Naseem Beg, who's is a corporate person working for Arif Habib, and the founder was actually Dr. Amjad Waheed himself. So it was not like a lawyers ने बैठ के बना दिए इस organization को, या it's actually a cross section of civil society. You've got, and they've got Nasra Iqbal as well, who's the bahu of Iqbal as. So these were the founding members, and I was not there actually. I'm not one of the founding members. I joined them about 3-4 years later, but frankly, I was very inspired by the idea of it. So इसमें हमने recently we have been able to reach about 100 membership, which is still half of the sustainability level. But now I have enough money, so I'm hiring people. And so this project Saaf Pani actually came. We wanted a project in different areas. Women rights में चाहिए था, children rights में चाहिए था, health right में चाहिए था, इसी तरह हमें environment में भी चाहिए था. We had a big debate between whether we should pick up like cutting of trees in the north, or so हमने बड़ी offsites की, हमने experts बुलाए हैं. So this was the most daring of them all. कि ये कराची का जो इस वक्त situation है, if somebody like PILAP takes the helm of it, hopefully, so we name it Saaf Pani, which I think is a very clear indication of what it says. So it's a very ambitious initiative. I would exactly agree with you. It's all about Karachi, improving the Karachi coastal system, and इसके basically हमारा कोई भी इनिशिएटिव है, जब अभी बात में करा था, if it is to do, sorry, with children right, anything, it has 3 basic fundamental pillars. One, it has to be a public interest issue. We can't take a specific issue for DHA and say I'm solving it. It has to be cross Pakistan or cross city or something like that. Second, we want to have, as part of the strategy, civil society participation. Without the civil society, public interest solved नहीं होता. And the last one is we want to use technology, data-based facts and figures to use. So इसके अंदर अगर आप साफ पानी, when I explain to you, you'll see actually all 3 of them are very clearly defined over a period of time.
The idea is truly extremely, extremely inspiring. And it's an amazing initiative because the unique thing is that, it actually combines community engagement, and we need more and more of that with technology to tackle the problem, from multiple angles. And may I just say that the name is extremely brilliant because it actually focuses on the problem that we have. So very, very inspiring and very, very amazing to see that such good work is being done. Moving on to a little bit more about this project. So one of the unique features of the project is the use of coastal watch teams and digital toxicity map. How will these tools help improve transparency and accountability?
Okay, you see, one of the very important things that we are trying to do is, and that's being built into the foundation of this project, is we want to make sure everything that we test or capture is legally acceptable. Because when we have the data and at the end we have to go to the courts or we have to go to the government, we don't, वो कहेंगे ये क्या है, किसने आपको टेस्ट किया है, Where did you get the sample? So we are actually creating a very scientific way. We are actually creating a GIS, which is a Geographic Information System, which is an
Yes.
app. Yeah, na app mein we are going to be first of all tracking down all the nalas that are going into the sea. I think there are 30, 40 nalas. बड़ी Delhi, they are the big rivers, but they are small nalas. I mean, आप sea view पे देखेंगे नाला जा रहा है जिसमें से पता नहीं कि कहाँ से सीवेज आ रहा है. So we were going to track all of them, and we have started talking to universities. Actually, we are giving a nala to every university. हमें IBA को एक नाला दे रहे हैं. IOBM ने तो ले लिया साथ वाला नाला उनके पीछे से it's right behind the university. Similarly, so and the only reason to give, and even fishermen villages, we have not talked to them yet, but we plan to. So we will have somebody who will be in charge of this one. So we will name them 1, 2, 3, whatever. And at certain point in time, we'll say every month, first of the month, you are supposed to take a sample from it and scientifically seal it, send it to Hisar Foundation or Bahria University में जो उनका है environmental study lab जो है. These are certified labs. I mean, Hisar Foundation actually is creating the Water Institute in NED University, जिसके equipment आ चुका है. It's probably start in the next 6 to 9 months. So we have signed an MOU with them. We have signed an MOU with WWF. We have signed an MOU with Bahria University. We have signing it, and with all these universities. So basically, what are we doing is we are collecting and we are finding out इसमें कितना chromium है, कितने mercury है, and then we'll consolidate it and we'll create a toxicity map. ठीक है ना. So आप देखिए आप when we talk about Karachi Coastal Watch, it's the university students, farm and fishermen who will be the people behind the scene. I can't run around and do all of that. Now this toxic map we plan to publish on the first week every month in newspaper, and I've already talked to Dawn, and I've talked to Geo. They love it. They said, I mean, any fact that will help the city be a better place. Now imagine a family who's just sitting there, जिनके साथ से नाला जाते हैं, and suddenly they see this toxic map. And then you also tell them कि ये mercury से नुकसान क्या होता है, chromium से नुकसान क्या होता है, lead से नुकसान क्या होता है. These are the health issues which people don't even understand. And I'm sure it's probably creeping into their water system as well. Probably उनके नलकों में भी आ रहा होगा, कहाँ आ रहा होगा. So toxicity map is basically to create the civil society to literally start screaming and shouting, please fix this. This is not acceptable. We are living in the middle of a very dangerous effluent. So this is the part you were asking me about. So it's been time like it will not happen. I think the toxicity map will probably be out in the next 6 to 8 months when we were able to get the GIS done running. So we want to do it properly. We don't want to run into it and suddenly end up finding out that we are facing problem. And we are talking to experts, IT experts, who we have already approached about the GIS system and to make an app. And hopefully we'll be able to share with you over time.
I think that's a extremely, brilliant way that you guys have adopted, because oftentimes what happens is that we do not place importance to data, and data is actually the first step to every solution. And after data, then we can decide the policies and we can decide what things we have to do. But in Pakistan, unfortunately, the system goes in a reverse manner where we do not place a lot of importance to data. But a brilliant, and like you mentioned that, yes, of course, monitoring and transparency are crucial, and restoring damaged ecosystems will require practical solutions on ground as well. The project also proposes, and I remember you also spoke about seaweed, for biomediation, for remediation, if I'm not wrong. Can you explain how nature-based solutions like this help restore polluted coastal water while creating economic opportunities in Sindh and in Karachi?
You see, this is something that while we were doing research about doing all of the work, now what we are doing with the toxic map is we are stopping things from getting to the sea, but sea is already full of it. Now the question is, if we don't go and clean that up, and I had no idea. I talked to my team and I said, our executive director Noor Khan, he's very innovative, so he went in and did a lot of research and he came back. And when I read it, I was shocked. I didn't even know about this seaweed. It's a special seaweed which actually grows naturally in a lot of areas, and it actually it takes what do you call these heavy metals and literally make them inert. I mean, arsenic को भी वो inert बना देता है. Arsenic is actually a poison. And I thought a sea would die if it takes into arsenic. So God has created these things for us. It's like a machine created by God to clean the ocean. उनको पता होगा कि one day my humans are going to go and destroy the ocean. So he has now the question is we need to first research it. We will bring it. I don't know how much it will cost. I have not done that calculation, but I'm sure everybody in Pakistan, in Karachi, including one of the people who are very heavily impacted are the Navy people. I mean, their ships are standing over there, and I'm sure the corrosion is at a high level. So I think as a nation, we need to get together at that stage and say, okay, fine, we may even go to the World Bank. I don't know who will help us. And the other interesting part of this seaweed is it's actually edible.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it actually will become a source of income for the fishermen. You see,
Yeah,
one of the things which I forgot to mention to you is that when I was reading things about Vietnam and Philippines, the biggest partners to fixing the coastal were the fishermen villages.
of course. Yeah,
And it was not just, they were not used as laborers, they were used as partners. They were given ownership for this area of mangroves. This is your area. Anything that you make out of it is your money. So then, without ownership, nobody will save anything. ठीक है ना? So, this is something that I learned. That, if somebody get paid for something, but if you are part of that business, then your ownership goes higher. So I think we'll have to design a lot of things, and this seaweed actually could become a source of income for the fishermen who could actually cut it in. Because if you see, we don't have seaweeds on our tables in our restaurants.
yeah,
I mean, you go around the world, it's actually a delicacy.
yeah.
ठीक है ना? So I'm just thinking aloud right now. Okay, एक तो हम साफ भी कर रहे हैं, but as a side product, you could actually end up with a good business of seaweeds, which tomorrow people could be selling as well, and especially the farmers, if we give the ownership to them, so they make sure that the seaweeds are becoming healthy, they don't cut them before they're needed. But all of this could get done. But so this is actually a natural solution. Otherwise, don't think there's any solution that humans have figured out to clean the sea.
Absolutely. And I think I really agree with your point. You brilliantly summed it that, these coastal communities, they need to be a part of the solution, and,
Yeah,
they need to be partners. Until
exactly.
unless they don't, become partners, we won't reach towards these solutions because they know their communities and they know their area the best. And this just is not, confined to marine pollution, but I think this is for all the communities that are facing problems, when it comes to climate change, maybe Balochistan, may it be, the areas in North Pakistan as well. Um, and another factor that I would like to mention is that innovation is clearly a part of the solution, and the seaweed thing that you mentioned is extremely innovative. But lasting environmental change often requires, strong governance and enforcement as well. And legal action, like you mentioned, is another key component of the strategy. So why do you believe public interest litigation and strong enforcement mechanisms are necessary to take individual to tackle industrial pollution?
देखिए, I mean, after doing all the work that I was mentioned, creating the toxicity maps and creating, and obviously we'll do a lot of other stuff. We are planning on going and talking to Kati, which is the Kurangi industrial estate site people, and talk to the industrialists. भाई क्यों कर रहे हैं आप? I mean, forget about SIPA. SIPA का काम अलग है, and I will also question SIPA. I mean, आपका जो 200 crore का budget है, what are you doing with that? I mean, this is my tax money. Is my tax money being properly used? All of these questions actually come to you as a citizen of Karachi, because ऐसा नहीं है कि we don't have organization to look after them. But coming back to this one, so we will be doing a lot of this stuff, and I think as we go through it, we've got if you go to our website, you'll see we've got a legal counsel. We've got top lawyers like Salahuddin Ahmad hai, Muiz Jafri hai, Jamal Nasir. I mean, these have already agreed to sign MOU with us. Hassan Mandiwala bhi hai. And these are experts, and we'll be approaching them. And the first thing they told us when we talked about this project is make sure everything that you're collecting, your data is kosher. If they cannot challenge your data, then they cannot challenge anything. Because पहली चीज तो कहते हैं ना, डेटा ही आपको खराब है जी, आप किधर से डेटा लेके आए हैं, तो फिर डिबेट ही नहीं हो सकती है. So I think we will have to in parallel put systems in place. And for example, Abhi, the first thing I would like to do in the next 6 months is actually go and approach SIPA and find out how many sewage treatment plants are there, why are they not operating, maybe
Yeah.
even go to the chief minister and find out कि भाई क्यों आप, how can you not have these operating? बने हुए हैं, 900% investment हो चुकी है, but because they're not being maintained, they're suddenly they're not. And water treatment plant भी है, ऐसी बात नहीं है. अब जो हमें पानी आता है, I don't know how if they are working, because we have to make sure that we get clean water, or we clean our water ourselves, boil करते हैं, क्या करते हैं. So I think हमने legal side पे we'll have to make sure, we'll have to approach all the organization, even federal level पे हम इसकी awareness create करेंगे कि उधर से भी आप इसको support करें, because no initiative will survive in this country if it is not if it's not supported by the bureaucracy. आपकी
Absolutely.
हो गई,
Yeah.
provincial government हो गई, because हम तो we are helping them, we are not taking ownership for it. This please आप ये साफ पानी project आप ले लें and make it the chief minister's project. I have no problem with that. The end result is what we are looking for, and we'll be very happy if somebody partners with us at that level and says, okay, fine, let's hold hand and let's fix it, because we cannot do it alone. That's why we are actually getting the civil society woken up. Because if there is a lot of anxiety of people, then somebody will start listening to us. But you're right. I mean, I have seen many projects which have died in the middle because they did 90% of the work and then they were not institutionalized. Institutionalized करना है वो testing. For example, one of the things that we are thinking of as well is not right now. Right now तो हम अपनी ये जो आपकी क्या है coastal watch से sample लेंगे. We want to put sensors in those nalas, which
Yeah.
will be automatically 24/7 sending us data through Bluetooth. कि क्या इसकी क्या है. So I mean, imagine करें उस लेवल का अगर आपके पास टेक्सचुअली मैप आ रहा है which is 24/7, you can actually it
That's
will be more powerful. But anyway, those will require investment. And एक अच्छी बात ये है कि whenever I've talked about different projects, when I talk about public interest, nobody understands. But when I say Saaf Pani, everybody says, oh yeah, that's very close to. I mean, I've got friends in Los Angeles. When they heard about this project, they said, oh, we want to support you. Because they are from Karachi, they love Karachi, they love the Karachi beaches. So, and I think we all can hold hand and hopefully and we will make sure that we get the expertise from the right people, and we meet the right people, we raise the right awareness. We are not fighting anybody, we are trying to fix things.
Absolutely. And I think I'm going to stick to what you said, that we cannot do it alone. So we need the stakeholders, and we need everyone. We need stakeholders of our society. We need the government. We need the public sector. We need the private sector. And most importantly, we need the civil society to wake up and to see what's happening in Pakistan, because we really need to make a change, if we want a better future for our children. Just to, wrap up this conversation, I'd like to ask you that if this project Saaf Pani inshallah, is successfully implemented, which it will be, what tangible changes would you hope to see along Karachi's coastline over the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh my God! I mean, the world will change. I mean, you go to these other countries and the beaches are so nice that tourism starts. And people start coming here, and we can improve our beach huts around there, and we can actually have, resorts created. Now you can't create a resort next to a gutter. Why would
Yeah.
anybody want to spend there? So I think the economic condition of Karachi will improve. Karachi will be known as a place, which is clean, which is very good. And I'll tell you, there's another interesting thing which I have not touched upon. If this works, this whole concept of a toxicity map, civil society activation, we can use the same model in other cities. Let's say Gujranwala has a nala going right through it. It's creating huge amount of issues. Here's our toxicity map. Here's our GS system. Here's what you do. This is, all put into a place. Let's go to Faisalabad. Let's go to Lahore. So, I mean, this is actually a test for us. If we can make it work, because we'll have done all the homework, and then it can be reapplied. The reapplication of this project can happen, and hopefully we'll be able to clean the entire Pakistan from these havoc that's happening all over the place. So it will be a gift to Karachi, by the way. I mean, if we can get this, will be the biggest gift we can give to Karachi, which has sustained so many people for so many years.
Absolutely. Right now, cleaner Pakistan sounds like a distant dream, but it is something that we can achieve. Thank you so much, Saad Saab, for your brilliant insights, and more power to you, and more power to Saaf Pani. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And inshallah, we'll come back to you, hopefully with some results in the future.
Inshallah.
Today's discussion highlights an important reality. Restoring our coastlines is not simply about cleaning up pollution. It is about protecting ecosystems, strengthening climate resilience, safeguarding public interest, and creating a more sustainable future for generations to come. Initiatives like Project Saaf Pani demonstrate that meaningful change is possible when innovation, community action, science, and policy come together with a shared purpose. Thank you for watching Front Seat to Climate Change. I'm Mahin Azam Khan. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember that every step we take towards protecting our environment is a step toward protecting our future.